Good morning, sports fans. You're listening to 96.9 FM WHYR-LP Baton Rouge Community Radio.
This is Eric Hatfield along with Coach Perry Daniels, and we are here to bring you the latest, the greatest, the best, and the most entertaining in high school, college, and professional sports. You are listening to Louisiana All American Sports. Fresh so clean. Good morning, Baton Rouge. It is Saturday, it is August, and it is time for Louisiana All American Sports. This is Eric Hatfield.
And I'm Terrell Johnson.
And I'm Coach Perry Daniels.
And I'm Terrell Johnson.
And you are ready for yet another edition of Louisiana All American Sports. Well, the good news, guys, July is over, as Hark Harrelson would say. And we are on to August, which means we got plenty of news. Of course, football's around the corner. Major League Baseball pennant races are heating up. It's a great time to be a sports fan. It is like the start of spring for sports fans, and we are happy to bring it all to you here on 96.9 FM WHYR-LP Baton Rouge Community Radio. We have a very special day today if you are a football fan, because a couple of things are happening this weekend. The one thing that is happening today is that the inductees, the 7 legends, will be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and there is a definite Baton Rouge connection, a Louisiana connection, Southern University connection, as Aeneas Williams, longtime St. Louis Cardinal, oh my God, Arizona. I don't think he was on the team when they were in St. Louis. Arizona Cardinals. They were called Phoenix though back then. Okay, Phoenix Cardinal, Arizona Cardinal, and of course finished his career with the St. Louis Rams. Aeneas Williams, longtime great, one of the greatest defensive backs of all time. He is being inducted today, and we have, of course, of the Hall of Famers, we're going to tell you about all of them, but we're going to spend a little more time talking about Aeneas Williams since he is so near and dear to us at home. So, now that I've done a whole lot of talking for 180 seconds straight, I'm going to let Coach Perry Daniels and Professor Johnson hop on in.
Well, hey, man, I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than this, Eric. This is only the second time that a Southern University night is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And our crosstown school, Louisiana State University, has only 3 inductees.
Right.
As large as that school is.
And nobody very recent.
And no one recent. So this is a huge deal.
Who do we have? Who was on the other side of town? Y.A. Tittle, Y.A. Tittle, and who else? Do you know?
Billy Cannon.
Billy Cannon is in. I wasn't sure if he was or if he wasn't. And is one of the Steve Van Buren, right?
That's correct.
All right.
Those are the 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So and the person that preceded today's inductee, Aeneas Williams, is Mel Blunt from those Pittsburgh
That's right.
Steelers with that famous steel curtain defense.
Oh, Mel Blunt was a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
So look, man, let's talk about how Aeneas got here, and let's first run down his NFL stats.
All righty. Aeneas Williams, there's a whole lot to say about the gentleman, so let me just give you all the brass tacks. He played cornerback early in his career, like many great quarterbacks, transitioned to safety late in his career. By the way, you can tweet Aeneas at Aeneas35. That's Aeneas 35. That's also his Instagram handle. Anyway, went to Southern University, of course. Stood 5'11", 194 when he was drafted. Spent the first 10 years of his career with the NFL's Cardinals organization. They were the Phoenix Cardinals when he was drafted. Became the Arizona Cardinals in 1994. Spent the back end of his career with a great team. The St. Louis Rams, of course, they won the NFC Championship in 2001. That was Williams' first year there, and were a contender really all 4 years he was there. 14 seasons in the league, 211 games. Selected, he was picked in the 3rd round, 59th overall in 1991, and that was a draft that was had a lot of role players, and not a lot of running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, but a lot of players like Aeneas Williams, defensive backs, defensive linemen. It was very rich. He played at cornerback for 12 years before moving over to safety. He was in the Pro Bowl at both positions. He had 4 deflected passes and an interception in his NFL debut. Finished the year tied for the most interceptions in the NFC with 6 picks. This is as a rookie. He was named the NFC Defensive Rookie of the Year by the NFL Player Association. He also was named first team All-NFC in 1995, 96, 97, 2001. Was a member of the All-Decade team of the 1990s. He recorded an interception in every year he played the NFL except for his last one, and he had 5 or more interceptions 6 times. He led the Cardinals in interceptions 7 times, and he was also the Rams' leading ball thief in 2003. 55 picks in his career for 807 yards. He had 9 pick sixes, so that ties him for second all time. At the time he retired, he was tied for second all time. 9 interceptions returned for a touchdown. Let that marinate for a second. That puts him right there with Primetime and some of the other greats. He shared an NFL record for the longest fumble return for a touchdown with that was a 104-yard return against the Washington Redskins on November 5th, 2000, and he recorded an interception in 4 straight postseason games between 1998 and 2001. Aeneas Williams is an Aquarius like I am. He was born January 29th, 1968. My birthday's on the 30th. That's how I know that stuff. Anyway, born in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I got one little nugget here. I'm going to let y'all go ahead and jump into the personal stuff. That's kind of the high-level bio from the Pro Football Hall of Fame website. But when y'all are done, I found another list online, just kind of surfing, of all the different quarterbacks that he intercepted in his career. Now, here's a trivia question. Y'all can mull on it, but I want y'all to try to take a guess at which quarterback he intercepted more than any other in his career. And actually, the number 2 quarterbacks are like half of that number of picks. So I'll just throw that out there. We'll come back to that in a little bit. But that's the high-level bio. That's the snapshot on the career of Aeneas Williams.
Awesome.
Yeah, very much so. Okay, let me chime in, Perry, with a little personal information on Mr. Aeneas Demetrius Williams, who, first of all, I want to commend him for his phenomenal achievement of being inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. As Eric said, I want to echo some of the things that he said. Aeneas is from New Orleans. And his early life, he attended the now defunct Fauché High School on a team with 3 future NFL players. And as Eric also said, he attended Southern University, where his brother Achilles also attended. And Aeneas did not participate on the football team until his junior year as a graduate student. During that year, as Eric also said earlier, he tied the Division I AA record for most interceptions. Some other personal information that I'd like to interject is a very profound statement as I was online looking for some information as relates to this gentleman, where he said in his household there wasn't any pressure to excel as a football player. In the Williams household, the emphasis was on education. As Terrence Harris quoted from NOLA.com, 3 things that were instilled into him were education, accountability, and character. And when I saw that was very eye-opening to see that this gentleman was just not striving to excel on the athletic field, but he also was developing character and striving to obtain achievement. Also, I'd like to commend him as well for being a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, the Alpha Sigma chapter. That's my fraternity brother as well. So we strive to obtain achievement in every field of human endeavor, and surely today this is a great accomplishment.
All right.
Wow. That is awesome, man. I love the fact that there was no pressure on him.
No pressure at all.
He gravitated to what he wanted to do and was very good at it. That's the ideal in life.
It is.
You know? Barry, did you have some nuggets you want to reflect upon Mr. Williams?
Well, not just Mr. Williams, man, but that entire Fauché program. It's just unfortunate that it's no longer around. 3 guys guys off of that team made it to the NFL. And
Right.
It is very unusual as a high school coach,
Right.
you know, that you have one guy on your team make it to the NFL.
Yeah, and you were talking, of course, the others. I won't steal your thunder. Go ahead.
No. The others being former Southern University Jaguar Maurice Hurst
Right.
and Ashley Ambrose, who also played in the SWAC but played up in Mississippi Valley.
Right.
And Ashley Ambrose was a stand. I mean, he was a very good player. He didn't go into the Hall of Fame, but he was definitely in the Hall of Good, and made a couple of Pro Bowls. Had some big plays with the Indianapolis Colts, the Saints, the Bengals. I think, did he make it to the Super Bowl with the Falcons? Was he on that team?
The Dirty Birds, I'm not sure.
But he had some good. He had some very good years. I remember him well in the NFL.
Yeah, so that high school team, must have been pretty good, must have received some pretty good coaching, and it's a testament to how high achievers rub off on each other.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. Success is contagious.
So Eric, hey, there's hope for all of us in the studio, I guess.
Oh, man. 225-343-9927. Area code 225-343-9927 if you'd like to get in on the conversation today. So we have a little Aeneas Williams trivia. Go ahead.
While you guys are doing that, I'll see if I can reach out to his teammate who agreed to join us.
Okay, that sounds good. So I'm gonna read some other people who he picked off in his career, which will tell you who it was not. This is a list of some of the QBs who he's intercepted: John Elway, Brett Favre, Warren Moon.
The Brett Favre interception list is pretty long, Steve. That's not good.
I'm saying, he knows I'm a Green Bay fan, and he wants to acrimoniously state something about Brett Favre. Okay.
Sure, I got a pair of Wrangler jeans this morning. That's how much I like me some Brett Favre. Shoot, that's some real comfortable jeans. Anyway, and by the way, those two picks of Brett Favre were in the postseason. Surprise, surprise.
Thank guys. I hate to interrupt, but here's the interview right now.
All right, awesome. Fire.
Oh.
I think Perry's getting his conference call thing flipped over there.
Right.
Perry's joining us remotely from Washington, D.C. Had to take care of a little business, but the show must go on. Perry, you there?
All right. I am here, and I have on the line George Tucker, who is live from Canton, Ohio, playing ball at Southern University with Aeneas Williams. George, first of all, let me welcome you to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Tucker.
Good morning.
Welcome, Mr. Tucker. Welcome.
Good morning. It's good morning at home.
Yes, it is still good morning in Baton Rouge. George, kind of bring us up to date on the festivities, man. I saw where you had a lot of posts last night at the Gold Jacket dinner. Just kind of explain to us how that was.
Well, on yesterday, the first thing we did was we went up there and we visited the hall and saw all of the different banners and different postings, and actually looked at the little section that was dedicated to Aeneas and Michael Strahan. That's what I spent most of my time on yesterday. And after we saw a whole lot of the Southern Knights, former teammates, I must have seen about 5 or 6 guys who played ball with in college. Lindsey Scott and his son up here with me.
I remember him.
Lindsey, yeah.
Played with the Saints for a little while.
As well as William Gage, who was Aeneas' roommate, Kirk Davenport, the high school team, as well as college teammate. And we spoke with Maurice Hurst on yesterday. He's supposed to be getting here this morning, but I overslept. We're supposed to go to the parade, but I missed that.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Look, after yesterday evening, man, that Gold Jacket event was mind-blowing. It was surreal, man.
I was going to say, man, I'm
sure it was.
I'm feeling giddy like a kid just hearing your account of it. I can only imagine what it's like to be there in person among all that football royalty.
Hey, hold on. Look, Perry, I can barely hear you because I'm hearing music playing in the background. I can't even hear your music.
Okay. I'm not sure where that music's coming from. Check the board here.
It's nothing. It's not on our end.
Okay. Let me try something here. Is that better, George?
No, I'm still hearing baby playing.
Okay, well, we're going to try to work through this. I'm not sure what that is. But if you could talk about...
Hold 1 second. Hold 1 second. That may be my phone. Hold 1 second.
Reach out and touch someone. But I'll tell you, just before George rejoins us, I'm just like, I'm imagining, sitting down at this dinner with these Hall of Famers. I mean, if you're a sports fan, that's trying to, I mean, you see it in the news so much all the time, sometimes we get desensitized, but imagine having that experience. You played some ball in college, and one of yours came up, and now you're sitting, you're at the precipice of sports history, of football history around all these people. And like you said, the gold jacket ceremony, I mean, that's just the experience. I'm just something to,
man,
wow.
It was phenomenal, man. I mean, you're sitting here talking to Ricky Jackson, and I actually spent quite a few minutes speaking with Mel Blunt. He and Aeneas are the two Southern University football players in the NFL Hall of Fame. Both have to be cornerback.
Right.
Yeah, but we smoked the link last night.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I spent some time with Emmett Smith. I mean, a good friend of mine, a fellow attorney out of Lafayette who played cornerback at LSU.
Yeah.
Named Darryl McCorvey. Is from Pensacola, and of course Emmett is from Pensacola, so I was able to have an opportunity to speak with him and just have a chance to really be around some NFL royalty, man.
Yes, sir.
That is so
it's
cool.
quite liberating for those of us who played and are just lifelong fans of the sport,
Right. And I'm glad that's a great segue. First, I want to get in that George Tucker is an attorney out of Hammond, Louisiana. He did mention that he's an attorney. Just wanted to let you know where he is, and you guys, if you need any services, he's one of the best in the business. But then, too, George, if you could talk about that Southern University team, man, that you guys played on with Aeneas, and talk about that overall defense.
Oh, man, look, that defense was full of some superstars, man. I mean, as a matter of fact, when I first arrived in '87, Rufus Porter and Chris Scott were the head honchos then. We had some other great players like Maurice Hurd, Michael Ball.
I've got to mention to the fans, since we're in Louisiana All American Sports and we focus a lot on high school football, even though I graduated from the crosstown rivalry, Chris Scott and Rufus Porter are both Capital High School graduates. Go ahead, George.
Rufus Porter spent some time with the black and gold, too.
Capital's finest. Yeah, man, but when I first got there, there was a great deal of pride in the Southern University defensive squad. It was an honor to play on that defense, even if you were just a red shirt. I mean, just to practice with these guys was like, eye popping. I mean, we used to be called, I don't know who came up with the name, but by the time I made it to Southern, they called it the Dog Day Deep.
Oh my goodness!
And it was that. I mean, we led the nation in total defense in '87. I mean, they only averaged 198 total yards.
Good grief!
So,
and I try to tell the audience. I always often tell the audience in the SWAC, offenses. There's the ball's thrown a lot, so that makes it extra impressive.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, that was a level of excellence that was established before we got there, and we just believed that at all times we were the best unit on the field, even if the scoreboard didn't reflect it. Maybe they got lucky,
Oh, they got lucky. Well, since we're talking about the SWAC, let me just interject briefly. I'm also a Grambling State University graduate as well. So we're contemporaneous through the same era. I was there in the 80s as well. And I would just like you to reflect on your memories against Grambling. If I'm not mistaken, I think you guys beat us once. I was there from 85 to 89, and I think Southern may have beaten us once. So you may have been on one of those teams.
Oh, man, come on now. Your memory doesn't serve you correctly. As a matter of fact, my freshman year was '87 when we got redshirted. We beat you all in '87 and '88.
Okay.
You got to remember, Maurice Hurst ran down Terry Rose and as he was headed in the end zone, punched the ball out of
That's right. Wow, you right. I remember that. Terry, he was kind of.
You have to remember that.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
were
sir.
about to have a fit.
Yes, sir. I stand corrected. You're absolutely right. Terry Rose.
You all had the game won.
I'm crying right now.
Punched the ball out the back. So that ended your scoring opportunity.
Yes, sir.
And,
So, George, what's on the rest of the agenda for this weekend up there in Halifax?
well, this afternoon, he's actually having the induction ceremony. And I think it starts at 6 or 7. And as a matter of fact, right now, we're on our way to go pick up another defensive backfield mate of his, Douglas Kraft, who, after leaving Southern, went on and retired from the Canadian League after playing a couple of years in the NFL. So, you know, yeah, I mean, they're all getting in here, man. I mean, a lot of us really didn't know what to expect. So, you know, some of us didn't come up yesterday. Some came up Thursday. But most people were focusing on today. But I think that yesterday, if you missed the ceremony, the gold jacket ceremony, you really missed at least half of what this thing is about. So, you know, but, you know, this afternoon is what people really focus on. But last night was sort of, for those that, you know, were really about the essence of it, you know. They said it's like 3 stages, 3 things you get up here. 1 is your yellow jacket. 2 is your bust. And 3, they get this ugly ring. I mean, it's a very offensive ring. I mean, I had a chance to sit there and look at John Randall's ring and Marshall Falk and Mel Blunt. You know, when they come back for the ceremony, they all wear their Hall of Fame ring, which eclipses any Super Bowl ring. It's so, but wow.
So tell me this, Judge. I've heard legendary things about the Michael Irvin closing speech at the Gold Jacket dinner. Did that go down yesterday, and can you share with us, you know, the subject matter regarding that?
Well, they didn't really have any speeches yesterday at the Gold Jacket dinner. I think that there may have been some closed session deal they do with the media and family members, because I wasn't privy to that. The Gold Jacket dinner is just for, you know, they bring them up, they choose a person, a family member, or some person that was very instrumental in their career, influential, to put the jacket on them. And they don't really get to say anything, you know, they just are there to be applauded, you know.
Okay, so maybe that is a separate ceremony where it's just players only and their family members.
It's a closed ceremony. I know we weren't there. They had a couple of things on yesterday that you tried to go into, you might have gotten tased or pepper sprayed. It was made clear that there's certain places we weren't supposed to go, but
okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. All right, now I know that you work with a lot of high school kids, getting them ready for the next level of football, and you've been working with some kids this past season. Let's kind of talk a little bit about those. Who may be the next wave of guys that have that opportunity to elevate to that level that you're at now?
Well, I mean, it's sort of a loaded question. I mean, but this level, we work with a couple of kids that I think may be able to, if they continue the same, you know, level of commitment. I mean, we work with a lot of kids that have a lot of talent, but, you know, they all have varying levels of commitment, you know? Yeah. So, but if you ask me, man, believe it or not, our captain brother has a son that I think is in Baton Rouge about the closest thing I've seen to Aeneas kind of crazy about pain and preparation. Marlon's son, Malik, over here. He's a cornerback. Yes, sir.
He'll be a senior this year, correct?
No, he'll be a junior. He's going into 11th grade. He's already been offered by University of California. He's already been offered by the University of Akron. Wow. He's already been offered by Oklahoma State.
Wow.
So, you know, but the thing about it is, man, it's just his commitment to this tortuous training sort of frightens me.
And I've noticed that you guys do have a very rigorous workout plan that you put those guys through. And if he's
Perry, you don't get it. When he gets through that workout and he hears that something else another kid is doing, he'll call him and go try to get them and go work out with them too. I mean, he is absolutely afraid of failure, so much so that he doesn't sleep if he thinks he left some stone unturned. I mean, I tell him all the time, it can't be done in a day. But he just doesn't believe that the reason they aren't recruiting, he believes that there has to be something he's not doing because he's not hearing his name called with these other kids.
Wow.
So he just keeps going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny, man. You know?
Okay.
And he's an excellent student, man.
Yes. That doesn't surprise me coming from the Antoine family. That doesn't surprise me at all. Anything else that we should look for on the high school scene?
Oh, man, you know, of course you got, I mean, you know, Edwin Moses' son, Dylan, you know, Edwin Moses, the brother plays just at Northwestern. You know, his son, he's a local attorney there, but his son is another one that has some self-hate issues when it comes to training. You know? He's a U-High too. That's Dylan Moses, who's the number one football player in the country for the class of 2017. Right now, he's the most highly talented high school football in the history of the game. Unbelievably, in the history of high school football, he will be the most highly recruited player in history. Period.
Good grief.
Bar none.
So, man, we're going to let you go, get back to the festivities. What would you like to leave the Jaguar Nation with regarding this
well, I mean, I would just like to leave them with, hey, man, we are extremely excited, proud, and grateful for having played at Southern. And to have ourselves to be up here with somebody we played with to represent, you know, all the football in this National Football League Hall of Fame, man, it's amazing. You know, it makes us really put some real value on the experiences we had back at Southern, man, and the lessons we learned, and all of the relationships we were able to build there.
Judge, I appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go Jaguars. Let's tune up the fight song there, Eric.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and close out with some...
I'll do it anytime, man. Anytime.
With some theme-appropriate music, and actually we'll go to a very brief intermission. We'll see you shortly. You're listening to Louisiana All American Sports on 96.9 FM, WHYR-LP, Baton Rouge Community Radio. All right, Perry, can you hear me? Hang on. Say it again.
I may have to call you back in order to drop George.
Okay. All right. This would be a good time to do it. We got about a minute and a half, minute some change.
All right, I'm gonna call right back.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Perry? Hold on. Can you hear me? Oops. Can you hear me? Okay. Yes, absolutely. All right, actually it's almost over, so about to bring us out. He's in the little boys' room, but he'll be out in a minute.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Here he is. He's right here. All right. So we hope you enjoyed the Southern University fight song. I sure did. Hearing just about anything by the Human Jukebox is always a treat to my ears. So we're going to get the regular segment now from Professor Johnson, the one where you've come to know and love him, where he drops a few nuggets, good grief, a few nuggets, there we go, a few nuggets of knowledge and a little little history on us, and I'm just going to get his bump music queued up and have you take it away in just a couple of secs. So, Professor, what you got for us?
And I want to share with you some information about the Baton Rouge Recreational Commission, BREC, and those of you who are familiar with this area, City Park. During the Jim Crow era in the late 1950s and the mid 60s, there was an incident which occurred where blacks weren't allowed to utilize the facilities there, swimming pool, any of the recreational things that they had in place. In the South Baton Rouge community, blacks would normally find little ponds or any little pool that would be filled with rain to actively swim during the summer times. There was an incident where a young man died swimming in City Park Lake, and so the United Negro Recreational Commission was formed, where they sought out to confront BREC because they were saying, well, look, our tax dollars are being taken and we aren't allowed to utilize these facilities. So with that being said, a young man by the name of Reverend Brooks, who was a deacon at Shiloh, began to champion this cause and began to rally the troops together. They were able to compile an amount of $16,000 to purchase this land, which is right near McKinley Middle School, across from a graveyard on 13th Street, which was then Fannie Street. They had this big celebration, and the pool was named after Reverend Brooks. This is where you get Brooks Park from. But beforehand, as I was saying, blacks fought just to be acknowledged and recognized during this time period, and just wanted to have a safe, wholesome environment for their kids to play in the summertime. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
I'll tell you that, Professor. As always, we always appreciate the nuggets of history that you drop on us. That there's so many things. You know, we hear about some of the injustices of Jim Crow and segregation, but you know, I think hearing the details of the story really gives a tangible feel to, you know, the audience members who weren't around during that time, to really give one a feel of what we're dealing with at the time. And as always, we appreciate bringing us that piece of knowledge. A whole heck of a lot.
Absolutely.
That was Professor Johnson's regular segment, and let's go ahead and get his appropriate bump going. Little poor righteous teachers. Let's going back to the old school.
Yes, sir.
So we have, of course, 6 other distinguished NFL distinguished pro football greats being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame today. Before I move off of our distinguished Mr. Williams, trivia question. Well, I'll give y'all a guess. The quarterback he intercepted the most in his career.
Steve Young.
Steve Young is a good guess. It is also incorrect. You got one, Professor?
I'll take a stab and say Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is on the list of people he's intercepted more than once, but and they were both in the postseason. But it is actually Troy Aikman. He picked Troy Aikman off, Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman, 6 times in his career, twice in the postseason. One was returned for a touchdown of those 6 picks. The other.
That makes sense, Eric, because when they first moved to Arizona, they were still in the NFC East.
That's correct. They were division rivals of the Cowboys until that 2002 realignment. Right. Other quarterbacks who he victimized more than once, pretty distinguished list. 3 times he picked off Randall Cunningham, a borderline Hall of Famer, Brad Johnson, who won a Super Bowl ring, Heath Schuler, and Vinny Testaverde, who should be in the Hall of Longevity, if anything else. 2 picks. He intercepted Ty Detmer twice, Hall of Famer John Elway twice, future Hall of Famer Brett Favre twice, Jeff Garcia, who had a pretty good career, twice, Kelly Holcomb, wow. That's just goes to show how long he played.
Right, yeah,
Stan Humphries, who played in the Super Bowl, and Frank Reich, who might be one of the best backup quarterbacks of his time. And then the list of quarterbacks he picked off once is as long as the day, although there are some distinguished names on there like Warren Moon. So
he's also attributed with laying the hit that ended Steve Young's career.
Boy, you think?
That was a clean hit, and it caused Steve Young to have a concussion.
Right.
And the 49ers urged Steve Young to retire after Aeneas sacked him in a game.
That's right. That was on Monday Night Football in 1999. And what a lot of folks, what is definitely forgetful, but I can't forget, is that they had just pulled off a classic 49ers heart-ripping out victory against the Saints the week before, and he had been sacked 8 or 9 times. So he definitely got a lot of flavor of Louisiana on the way out the door.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He got some cayenne. All right. So other Hall of Famers, a lot of names that we're going to recognize here. Derrick Brooks, longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker. Played 14 years in the NFL. He was selected in the first round, played at Florida State. He was a stand-up from top to bottom. Never missed a game during his 14-year career. That is unbelievable.
It was amazing playing the position that he played.
And especially at that time when we weren't as cognizant of concussions and all the stuff that the league was not as safety conscious as it is today. Never missed a game. Started all but 3 games in his rookie season and never missed a start for the remainder of his career. Earned all rookie honors. This is a guy, he was a guy, he instilled fear, and he was a big part. He was really one of the last, he was a crucial cog in one of the last, I would say the last NFL team to win a Super Bowl without, except maybe for this year, but without a real superstar quarterback. I think Russell Wilson of the Seattle Seahawks is rising, but he's not that Brady, Breeze, Manning caliber. That Buccaneers defense is what got them to and won the Super Bowl, and as solid as Brad Johnson was that year, that was defensive driven, and Derrick Brooks was the oopsie daisy, was the straw that stirred the drink in that defense. Any reflections on Brooks before I move on to the next guy?
No.
All righty. All right, and then next we have, this is a man who I think is long overdue. Ray Guy, Oakland Raiders, punter. This is a man, the NFL, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, there are 2 sets of individuals, 2 classes of individuals who come in. People who have been retired who have been out of the league for between 5 and 24 years, and then people who have been out for 25 years or longer. That's called the seniors, if you will. Once you've been out for 25 years or longer, you get up to 2 seniors every year and then 5 non-seniors. Well, Ray Guy should have been, frankly, in right out of the box. This guy was a trailblazer, changed the game. There was no such thing as a coffin corner punter. There wasn't any such thing as, all this special team scheming. This started with the Oakland Raiders selection of Ray Guy, the 23rd pick of the 1973 NFL draft. Played for 14 seasons. He only averaged less than 40 yards a punt in one season in his career. He had an average of 45 yards per punt as a rookie. Basically, I can tell you, throw out numbers and stats all day long, except to say he played a very long time, and he changed the way the game was played. He made special teams and defense and field position move. You always hear offense, defense, special teams. This is one of the guys that put special teams in that conversation. It was an afterthought in the NFL prior to the 70s.
And I'm just absolutely shocked that he wasn't in the Hall. I would have bet my last dollar that he was already a member of the Hall.
You would think so. He's the first punter ever to get into the Hall of Fame out of southern Mississippi. He's the first punter ever. The only other full-time kicker was Jan Stenerud, although for the Raiders, George Blanda and Lou Groza really cut their teeth as kickers, but also played other positions. But I think this is long overdue, great recognition, and great. I'm happy to see that.
Absolutely. Ray Guy was a threat.
Right.
From the punter position, and other teams viewed it that way and prepared for Ray Guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
And hopefully, though, this will open the door for other deserving punters, such as Reggie Roby.
Right, Reggie Roby, Sean Landetta, who really, you talk about inventing the coffin corner. He perfected it, if you will. If Ray Guy started it, the late Reggie Roby played a very long time, very good punter. So I think you're going to see those floodgates start to open up. You're going to see it with kickers really soon. As you have Morton Anderson, it's any year now before he gets in. When Adam Vinatieri retires, I'm sure he's going to march in. Nick Lowry. It's just a matter of time. Claude Humphrey was another senior. This is a guy, he played at Tennessee State University, played between 1968 and 1981, total of 14 seasons. He spent 1975 on injured reserve. But this is a guy who racked up a whole lot of sacks before the sack was an official statistic. He is unofficially credited with 122 career quarterback sacks. Another reason you might not know a lot about Mr. Humphrey, and probably a reason it took him so long to get into the Hall of Fame, was he spent 11 years with the Atlanta Falcons, who were never won the division before 1980. They were really not a very good team at any level at all until the 1980s. So that's really a reason that the younger people might not know much about him. But nonetheless, he did get to play in the Super Bowl. He played with the Philadelphia Eagles and played in Super Bowl 15 when the Eagles faced the Raiders right up the road in New Orleans. Claude Humphrey in the Hall of Fame. Walter,
yes, man.
Go ahead.
Well, the Tennessee State out of the Ohio Valley Conference.
Okay.
It's just good to see those small schools, which is a reoccurring theme
Yes.
in this year's class.
Yes.
And Professor Johnson, it's just a lot of small school guys who have made it to the epitome of their profession.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. I think it's a great moment for the SWAC and like-minded conferences that we are now. We have been for many years considered second tier, but we have had a quality of athlete that has gone unnoticed.
Al, it's one thing. It's with progress. There's always a trade-off. We talked about this time last year. One thing back before 1975, roughly. Out of the South, the best African American football players went to HBCUs. Of course, post integration, the other schools didn't waste time getting on board and siphoning those resources. But back in the day, your Mel Blunts and people of his caliber went to HBCUs. The best players went to those small schools.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? Not to digress much, because we want to give these other honorees some time. We may not have time to get to our regular baseball segment this week, Eric. But personally, I would like to see a movement back to that, so that we can sustain these institutions, not just in the game of football, especially in the game of basketball, where five guys can make an impact.
Right.
I think about the Kentucky class, where all those guys, or even the Fab Five,
right,
that went to the University of Michigan. If all those guys go to a Southern University, a Jackson State University, a Grambling State University, then that makes those institutions, those programs, relevant on a national scale.
Got that right.
It can easily be done. But let's move on. We'll touch that on another show. Let's continue on our Hall of Fame quest.
This was another bad mother shut your mouth. Walter Jones, tackle, 6'5", 300 pounds. He came out of the NFL to Florida State, but he does have noted on his dossier that he went to Holmes Community College in Mississippi. He played for 12 years. He was the 6th overall pick in the 1997 NFL draft, and the Seahawks traded up to get him. This guy was just dominant. That blind side, the quarterback didn't have to worry about anything. Because he just swallowed you up and chewed you up whole, chewed you up and spit you out. He became the first offensive lineman in Seahawks history selected to the Pro Bowl. He is a member of the NFL's All-Decade Team of the 2000s. He was a guy that helped really open a lot of lanes. When Sean Alexander had his MVP season, he was the left tackle. That 266-yard performance that Alexander had, fourth highest single game total in NFL history. Walter Jones was clearing the way. 10 playoff starts, including the 2005 NFC Championship game, and of course he was part of that NFC Championship team that played Pittsburgh in Super Bowl 40. Born January 19th, 1974, Walter Jones, and you can tweet Walter Jones at BigWalt71.
Is that another one of your Aquarius buddies there, Eric?
I think that's right on that Pisces Aquarius borderline. But it's real close. He is a January baby, though. It does kind of jump out to me.
Here's what amazes me. This has to be said, man, about Walter Jones. Out of all the years that he played, Eric, he had 9 holding calls. 9.
That's unbelievable.
Yes.
That is unbelievable.
There are all pro linemen now that have 9 in a season.
Some get 2-3 in a game.
This guy played his whole career and only had 9.
I'm sorry, Evans. Oh, damn. I'm sorry about that. Oh, boy. Yeah, had this.
That is just amazing.
Wow. This is just weird. I just looked at date of birth. Andre Reed was born January 29th, 1964. Walter Jones, January 19th, 1974. Aeneas Williams, January 29th, 1968. Coincidence? I think not. January babies. Andre Reed, the next Hall of Fame inductee we're going to talk about. Longtime great for the Buffalo Bills. 16 years in the NFL, 234 games. You can tweet Andre Reed at Andre_Reed83. That Buffalo Bills team, I'll tell you, you don't get a prize for second place, but boy, if there's ever a team that deserved it, that 4 straight Super Bowls, you get you get an honorable mention that should be almost as big as the Lombardi Trophy, and he was a part of that special Buffalo Bills team that dominated the AFC in the late 80s and especially in the early 90s as they made it to 4 consecutive Super Bowls. Most prolific receiver in Buffalo Bills history, played 941 games. Had 941 career receptions with the Buffalo Bills, 13,095 career receiving yards. He had 3,600-yard games. And he had 15 catches in a game for the Bills. That's a team record. He's known for that yards after the catch. That was he and Jerry Rice really, again, talk about changing the game, really kind of brought that element into focus. He played with Thurman Thomas and Jim Kelly, 4-time All-AFC player, and was on the, I'm missing something, 13 seasons, 9 consecutive years with at least 50 receptions. Only Jerry Rice exceeds that. He went, another small school player here, we're noticing another trend. He went to Kutztown, which I've never heard of in my entire life. Sounds like a place we get some fine cutlery, but some steak knives or something. But Andre Reed, alumni of Kutztown, and he was I'm not gonna say long overdue, but this is definitely was not on the first ballot, but I think he's definitely well deserving to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Eric, that Buffalo Bills team was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Machine Gun Kelly, as you said, Thurman Thomas, Reed, Bruce Smith, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't Kelly transition from the USFL and come from the Gamblers?
That is correct. He played for the Houston Gamblers that's where I first heard of him. When I was a little boy, that's how I first knew of Jim Kelly. He was with he went to quarterback Miami, went straight to the USFL because they paid him handsomely. Right. Played for the Gamblers, also played for the New Jersey Generals at the very, very end before the league melted down. And then he was one of that great class, that wave of USFL players, he and Steve Young and others that really made a name for themselves in the National Football League. Michael, go ahead.
A couple things regarding Andre Reed, real quick. In one of the greatest comebacks in NFL, he scored 3 touchdowns in the second half of that game, man, where the Buffalo Bills came back and beat the Houston Oilers after being down 35-3 at halftime.
That's right. No, Perry, not down 35-3 at halftime. Back down 35-3 in the third. It was 28-3 at halftime. And if you remember, there was an interception. I could see the guy's name, Steven Jackson, I think his name was, picked it off and ran a pick 6 in the third quarter. That's how little time. It was one of the greatest spectacles you'd ever see, and Andre Reed is definitely an iconic part of that. I can actually, when you said that, Perry, can visualize that touchdown that put him ahead, put him back in the game.
Yes, and last week you were mentioning about people that don't back down from their words after they make a statement, and Andre Reed this week kind of criticized John Bon Jovi, who's looking at possibly purchasing the Buffalo Bills. And Andre Reed has not backed down from his statement. Nor has he backed down from his comments on Johnny Manziel.
I heard about that. Don't get me started. We can talk about that sooner or later. I'll have plenty of time. If you listen to this show since the beginning, if you're one of the fortunate few that have, Johnny Manziel is my man crush. I'm really rooting for that boy. But we'll have a lot of Johnny football to talk about eventually. Michael Strahan. You know him probably. I mean, heck, if there are any ladies out there listening, you probably know him from I was about to call it the Regis and Kelly show, but I guess it's Kelly and Michael now. Or anyway, you know him from daytime television probably as much as on the gridiron, and his trademark gap tooth. But he was a great defensive end, 6'5", 255 out of Texas Southern.
Hey, watch that.
Oh, that was a compliment. I didn't mean for it to come up. And you can.
I know. Go ahead.
You can tweet him at Michael Strahan, and out of Texas Southern, played for 15 years. He was picked in the second round of the 1993 NFL Draft. Unbelievable pass rusher, 141 and a half career sacks, 38 multi-sack games during his career. He registered 10 or more sacks in a season 6 times in 9 years between 1997 and 2005. He was just incredible. 7 Pro Bowls, member of the All-Decade team in the 2000s. And of course, he was part of that amazing Super Bowl 42 victory over the New England Patriots. That was the David Tyree game. That's one of the greatest Super Bowls I've ever seen, actually. Michael Strahan, very well-deserving member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is. The pride of Texas Southern University. Another SWAC school, another small school. Just goes to show you that no matter where you start, you can achieve your goal. This was amazing. I was messing with Eric a little bit there when he referenced the gap tooth, because we gap tooth guys and we kind of stick together. So I was just commenting there for those of you that have never possibly seen me in person. So that was the only reason for that.
It's all gravy, baby. All right, that's good. We actually have 7 minutes left. So first of all, coming up in those 7 minutes, we have Noel Jackson with Music Satisfaction here on 96.9 FM WHYR-LP Baton Rouge Community Radio. We do have some time to talk about our boys on the diamond, because there was some news in the last week.
Oh yes, then, man. Hey, how do you want to do this? You want to just go into this? Let's talk about it. Do we want to do the segment?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's give our audience a little taste of something. We've done. We got our field correspondent on the line. Take it away.
All right. And the Cardinals are playing a home game. And that means we go to our field reporter, Brian, live from St. Louis. Hey, Brian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Perry. Good morning. How you doing today?
Doing super fantastic, good brother. Super fantastic. So, run down the report from Busch Stadium for us today.
All right. The first place Milwaukee Brewers are in town. National League Central Pennant race is starting to heat up. Pitcher today for the Brewers is 6'6", 204-pound right-hander Jimmy Nelson. He is a 1-2 on the season with a 4.3 ERA. Making his debut today for the Cardinals is right-hander Justin Matheson. He was just acquired from Cleveland, where he had a 4.46 record with a 5.51 ERA.
Awesome, man. That's been a pretty good game, man. I'm interested to see this matchup today, to see what the new pitcher from Cleveland is going to provide for the Cardinals. And this game this whole series should be really intriguing. You know, so, hey, Brian, don't leave just yet, though. I've got a question that I'm about to ask you, man. Last time, Eric and I were dunking in the studio, when I asked you this question, I just want to make sure that we can get this in today. So, what position in the lineup is the African-American batting for the Cardinals today?
Say hello to my little friend.
Perry, I just don't understand. I just don't get it. Oh, all right. MLB. That's what we'll do real quick, Perry. I'm gonna read for the listeners the three big trades that went off, and maybe you can bring them up to speed on the pennant chase. You want to do that?
Yes.
Okay. John Lester was traded to the Oakland Athletics in exchange for Yoenis Cespedes. Boston needing some power very badly, but the real power move here is now Lester's in the Oakland A's lineup. Oakland is known for really farming their players. They're a small market team, not a lot of money. They traded an established all-star for a rental player, which tells me Billy Beane thinks his team can win now. I think the A's paid a very steep price, but what we'll do is make that rotation almost bulletproof them and another team in the AL that I'll mention momentarily, because that's going to give them John Lester, who's won a World Series in the past. Lester, that's going to give him Sonny Gray. That's going to give him Jeff Samardzija. That's going to give him Jason Hamill and Scott Kazmir. That's a ballerific pitching rotation. John Lackey was traded to the St. Louis Cardinals for Alan Craig and Joe Kelly. I think that was a very risky move by all involved. Alan Craig and Joe Kelly were a couple of guys you thought might have been the future of the Cardinals organization. Kelly can throw some flames. He was starting to come into his own, and Alan Craig was a hero in the 2011 World Series. Having a down year, really bad year, terrible July, but still, he's a young man. You'd expect him to pick up, but John Lackey has that playoff experience, and when Lackey is good, he's really good and can make right-handers pay dearly. That's what the Cardinals are gambling on. We'll see if it works out. I'll tell you, the Cardinals are a team I would never question their moves after they fail, because the Cardinals make a lot of the right moves. And finally, the big gun, David Price, 2012 Cy Young Award winners, went to the Detroit Tigers. This is ridiculous. The Tigers have the last 3 years Cy Young Award winners in their rotation. They have Justin Verlander, David Price, Max Scherzer, and they have a couple of ordinary busters in Rick Porcello and Anibal Sanchez, rounding out the bottom of that rotation. That is just ridiculous. With that, Perry, I'll let you bring our listeners up to speed in the next 3 minutes on the pennant race. Well,
the Orioles lead the American League East by 2.5 games over Toronto.
They're balling.
The Yankees are 6 back. The Detroit Tigers, they just got better, and they're leading their division by 4 games over the Kansas City Royals. Cleveland's still in the race, 6.5 back, followed by the White Sox at 7. In the AL West, which is one of the closer divisions, the Oakland Athletics are in first place, 1 game over the Los Angeles Angels. Moving on to the National League, the Washington Senators are
Nationals
ahead of the Atlanta Braves by a game and a half. The NL Central is a really tight race. You've got Milwaukee and Pittsburgh right first, second. Pittsburgh's 2.5 games back, and the Cardinals are 3 games out of first place behind the Brewers. In the NL West, the Los Angeles Dodgers have overtaken the San Francisco Giants, and the Dodgers are in first place. The Giants are 2.5 games back.
And the Giants suffered a devastating loss. Reported yesterday, Matt Cain will be out for the rest of the season, or is expected to be out for the rest of the season with an elbow injury. Big-time starter in that Giants rotation, so that's going to shift a lot of the balance of power back to L.A. in that division.
Real quick, Eric, as we leave, man, update from the prep ranks. Brandon Sampson out of Madison Preparatory Academy went to the Fab 48 tournament in Las Vegas, where he averaged 30 points a game.
Wow.
And drew a scholarship offer from UCLA.
Whoa!
As well as UNLV, Wake Forest, USC, and California. He had already had offers from St. John's, LSU, and Tulane.
Well, I'm thinking that Brandon Sampson might have taken. We have about a 1 minute left. Little nugget. Pauley Pavilion at UCLA flooded after an 93-year-old water main leaked 8 million gallons of water all over the campus. It completely flooded the pavilion. I'm thinking Mr. Sampson might be scratching that one off the list, since the workout facilities are downstairs there. So.
He just might be, man. He just might be. So, Professor Johnson, any comments before we get out of here?
Again, I just want to echo the same sentiments that you said. This is a very prestigious day for the Southwestern Athletic Conference. I want to commend all the inductees today for their honorable achievements, and I'm very proud. And hopefully now the SWAC, as going forward, we won't be looked at as second tier. Yes, sir.
Well, you're ready for it, Perry?
I'm ready, Eric.
Fire.
ADT, JNS, love you.
Have a good afternoon.
Peace.
Man, did you see?
Hail to the king and lots of love. May he protect us from the evil. Hail to the king, lots of love. May he protect us from evil.